What's up, Rockstars? Welcome to another big episode for some news. I got a great talking point on this one because there are some campaigns out right now making almost $1 million that just launched that have over $8,000 and like a single pledge. Like there are some big money spenders out there. Let's talk about it. I take a quick moment to thank my sponsor for today's video and the channel partner that you guys know and love, Into the AM. They are huge supporters of the channel and this community here, and so I thank them for that. And I love that you guys can show them some love back. They have amazing product. Seriously, I just happened to be wearing this today, day of filming. Literally, I didn't think I was going to be filming this video today, but sure enough, I am, and we got it done, doing all the work. You guys will get back to that video in just a moment. I want to tell you guys, did you see how good that fit? Like on even my body type, like it just, I don't have to adjust it. It's not clinging anywhere that doesn't need to cling. It feels great. It looks great. I just got a compliment today about it. I'm constantly getting compliments. Anytime I go out in public wearing shirts like this, people say, "That's a sweet shirt, dude. Hey, I really like your shirt." I get that all the time, and I never used to do that. Ever. Every single time I've gotten that compliment, it is from an Into the AM shirt, and it's all thanks to them. They make great stuff. So good quality, looks great, people enjoy it, it's awesome, and it's at a really good price. They always have this 3 for $60 going on here, and there is a 10% discount code for you guys, through this channel, just for you guys. It'll work on that, so you'll get 10% off of even that. It's pretty much like getting free shipping. So super duper cool to get that. And I really wanted to show this new theme search. You guys have seen, I've shown you guys this. They have amazing shirts, right? You guys see this all the time. Great stuff. But now you can just go, boom, abstract. I want abstract stuff. And instantly see, like, here's their new, like, minimalist design stuff that they're doing here. Super cool. Really into it. I dig it a lot. I really like the designs of it. This spaceship one in particular, breaking the lines as it goes up. Genius design move there, I think. And of course they have, you gotta unclick that. You gotta click skeleton, right? We gotta get the skeletons in here. Guys, these are amazing shirts. I can't tell you guys enough how great of a product they are. I get nothing for selling you guys crap. You guys know, you guys would find out instantly. Enough of you have purchased this now to know I'm not lying. This is not fake. They are amazing. So link down below, 10% discount. Feel free to treat yourself or some that you know and love, perhaps for a gift for a certain time coming up, with some super cool, legit, very nice shirts. Thank you, Into the AM, and let's get back into the video. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that this channel is possible, so that I can bring you the videos that I want to make in the way that I want to make them, covering the subjects I want to do without any influence from the game industry paying me to do anything while I critique them. So if you appreciate that level of honesty and freedom, then there is a link down below. Even $1 a month helps greatly. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. All right. Now with that, let's go ahead and just dive right in here. This is fascinating to me, and my mind was boggled until I figured out what they did. And I think I know exactly how this works, and I think you're gonna like it. Okay. So this is Nostalgics, I believe, which is very kind of a nice, play on words here. It has currently $793,000 raised from only 1,729 backers. Now that averages out to $458 per backer. Okay. And all this is a trading card game. We also have, as a bonus, this one, Grand Archive trading card game, $717,000 raised from only 777 backers. Very lucky. And again, also just launched. That is an average of $923 per backer. Now you might be thinking, how could they do this? How is this even possible? Like, if you look at this Grand Archive one, for instance, they only show 15 cards. That's all they show. They don't show any of the other cards. Okay. Now, I see this and I'm like, wait a second, right? And then I look over here and it's like they have this huge, look at this, a $10,000 tier that somebody backed while seeing 15 cards. Well, how does that even work? How did 50 people give you $2,500 for only 15 cards? How is that? Kind kind of interesting. Now, I did watch their quick start guide, and it does seem like they definitely have the card mechanics down and all that kind of stuff, so that's great. Before I answer that question, let's go and swap over to nostalgics, right? How did they break every single Kickstarter record around trading card games? How did they fund in 30 seconds? They got over $100,000 in 30 seconds. Shoot, how do you make that kind of money? How do you do that? For just a trading card game? And I'm looking. It just looks like Pokemon, right? I mean, it looks like, thematically, it looks like Pokemon. Both the card art looks a lot like Pokemon, maybe a little Digimon a little bit. It's like slightly more mature Pokemon. But the card, like UI, right? The UX, all that, it just screams Pokemon, right? So what's going on here? How do they have so much money? What's going on? Okay. That's it. I mean, like, to me, if I didn't know any better, that would have been a Pokemon card. Like, it looks close. It really does. So what's going on? How do they get all of this? How does Zaba do this? Well, I'll tell you exactly how he did it. First of all, the per person is because they have stuff like this. They have 10 backers backing at $8,889. They have 7 backers giving them $4,777. They have 50 backers giving them $1,000. That's $50,000 just here. And these are all sold out. These are all there. Everybody else is stuck in this stuff. Okay. A measly 555, which 42 people are doing. Okay. Look at the $35 one, least amount, 18 backers. The only thing less than that is the limited stuff that only is like limited like 10. Okay. So here's the thing. And I went and I was like, there's no way. This isn't real. This is some BS is what this is, right? There's no way that they're making this kind of money, right? Like for what? For 15 cards? For some Pokemon ripoff? Like, what's going on here? So I watched the video of this one. I was like, okay, that seems pretty legit. All right. I mean, it seems like a good card game. And then you go into reading and it's like, oh, look at this. Look at this. Huge effort on the rarity of cards. We all know that Pokemon cards went crazy. Magic the Gathering cards have always been crazy when it comes to rare cards and how much they're worth. And this is specifically advertising that. Not only that, look at that. They're giving away NFTs even. Oh, you might have a chance to get an NFT. You could even own the digital version of this card, and now it's yours. So this is a huge, like, rare draw kind of look here. Okay, so what? Still, I mean, I could go and make something that's clean that, and I won't make this much money. Well, it looks here like they just need to fund the art, right? And so then I'm like, okay, well, that kind of explains the 15, right? I would like placeholders, of course, but I can understand only showing 15 fully realized art pieces because that is the majority of the funding. As you can see, $96,000 is what they needed to do this. So then I come out over here and I watch this video. And it's Zala, and he's talking about all this stuff. And he's talking about how, like, hey, I've given this game already to 400 people, and I need to, like, pay for all the art costs because it's a whole bunch of money, especially for like the foils. He shows foils, which are super cool. So okay, yeah, art is expensive. I've talked to board game creators about that. If you make a kind of one of those, like a Blood Rage or Rising Sun or something like that doesn't actually have a whole lot of art compared to like a Dungeon Crawl that has a ton of art, that's very expensive. It's a very different cost structure of making those games. Very different profit margins on those too, because they have to sell around the same amount. So yeah, art's expensive, and I think artists should be paid, so that's good. But it still doesn't explain so much, even with 400 people, right? How is this going on? And it's retailers. This, like there's not necessarily a backer paying $8,000. It's retailers buying a whole bunch of boxes and stuff like that to have in their community. Which, I'm assuming the same here. It's retailers, okay? So retailers are getting these kind of big bucks things. So lesson learned here, always be willing to, like, have an option for a whale, right? So often, what happens is you have like a retailer pledge that's like $15 or something like that, and then you go deal with it later. This, it's like, hey, let's go in and do it on the Kickstarter itself. Now that's a little bit dangerous because you got to verify that they're a retailer typically, which means like, seeing that they, pay for the brick and mortar thing or have a website or have ownership of it or something like that. Because they normally get a better deal. But you've already gotten their money from Kickstarter, so then you run the risk of having to refund it if somebody was a bad actor on that or something like that. And these big pledges, they could always drop out. And if they drop out within like the 42 days, then suddenly they're out, over $100,000 just based off those people. So if you stretch goals or something like that. So it's very dangerous to do that. But it's also a very good way to get more money. But that still doesn't explain how you can convince 10 retailers to carry your little very Pokemon-esque game. It has mana, so it's kind of like Magic the Gathering. It has a very solid mana ramp. Literally, it's smooth. 1, 2, 3, 4. I went ahead and played it even. So like I get it. It's thing, but then it also has like your arenas, right, that you can have and stuff like that, and you're getting the prize tokens from defeating enemies, right? So this is very Pokemon-esque. That's fine. But yeah, that doesn't mean you get $800,000. Community is what they did. When he talks about the fact that he's already worked on this and sent this out to 400 people, right? It's because of stuff like this. He has a Patreon here making, by the way, $50,000 a month from only 400 patrons. 400 sounds like a familiar number to me, where he's sending out prototypes handmade, right? 3 prototype handmade cards. So people are getting these cards. People are seeing this. Other people are actually getting these and experiencing this and working up a community. Now, that being said, this is still recent. I went ahead and looked, right? He has 18 posts, and the earliest one on this Patreon is from September 4th of this year. So only a couple months. But they also have a Discord that I believe is locked out, so I didn't see that. However, Grand Archive, same thing. First of all, here's the rarity. This is what I had this here for you, right? Is like they're definitely pumping up the rarity thing. So maybe more on that later. But their Discord has like 500 plus people. Okay, so they definitely have communities around them pre-existing already, and it's very community driven in how they're doing things. And I believe that is definitely the key here is a community right here, to build a community, to attract distributors. And it's in that order, right? If distributors, if retailers can see there is a community pre-existing around this game that I can potentially tap into and hedge a bet on, then that's a lot better than something that, isn't the case. Additionally, when building a community, some of those community members are in the industry. Some of you watching right now, I know, are in the board game industry. You guys make board games. You guys produce board games. You guys manufacture board games. I know it. I talk to you guys all the time. And I think it's great that we have both consumers. We have YouTube people like me, like Alex, like others that watch it. Jeremy Howard, I know, watches these often. And so we're all kind of grouped together here. We're actually more intermingled than you think. At this scale where the industry is right now, a lot of the people doing the things are also fans of the things. There's not a whole lot of business in suits, a whole lot of people from outside the hobby that are doing it and for money, right? Just to run a business. It's people that love board games, people that love card games, making and producing board games and producing card games, consuming content on YouTube and all that. So if you build a community, in other words, if you have a retailer who is part of the community and then say, hey, there's a retail pledge and he's already a fan or she's already a fan of your game, boom, $10,000 tier. There you go. That's what it's all about. That is what they've been doing here. And I think it's awesome. Good for them. I think it's great to show exactly how to actually run a campaign. It's not just by latching onto an IP. It's not just by, showing off pretty renders of miniatures or whatever. It's actually getting your game into the hands of people so that they can enjoy it and talk about it with their friends and get their friends to join in and so on and so forth and grow naturally a community. It's what I've been trying to do this whole time here, not because I want to launch a trading card game that makes $1 million in a day. That's not the case. It's because that community is so tight-knit. It's because that community is where great things can happen, where change can be made, where great endeavors can be, where life-changing things. This guy, his life has changed now. Not only was he already making $50,000 a month, and it's not just him, it's a whole team. It's a whole, I don't want to act like he's like some rich dude now, though he was able to put like $10,000 into this. So, there is that. I couldn't, but
Other people are in other situations, and that's fine. It's whatever. But I mean, there's artists, right? Lead artists, and good for them. I hope they are paid very well. I'm not a fan of all of their art styles, but I appreciate that they're creating art, that they're producing something that people enjoy, and I think they should get paid for it quite well. We should pay our artists. So, like, there's a whole team there, right? And of course, there's designing and developing the game, and then making these prototypes and sending them out, all that kind of stuff. It's really cool that he now essentially is running a legit company at this point, assuming something catastrophic doesn't happen in 4 to 5 days, but whatever. I think the length of the campaign should be shorter. That like goes into Christmas. Like that's, I do worry about that, but hopefully they're all right there. I'm sure they are. It's obvious they are. So, yeah, I guess that's the lesson of the day is, if you do things right, if you do things correct, right? I point at Succubus Publishing. I point at Dragori Games. I point at people like this who really just do honest work and are then rewarded from it. And time again, it works. It just works. And you gotta be smart about it. You can't just make a good game. You have to have a good campaign. He could have just made this game and launched on Kickstarter. He built a community and he worked around being smart as like, okay, how do I get a business? How do I get a clientele? I've spoken a little bit about the 1,000 people rule. I forget who coined it or where it was. It used to be like, you remember blogs? Well, this was like a blog post at one point, but it was talking about, I think it ended up being a book, about how if you have 1,000 people that will follow you anywhere, you can do anything. Because you instantly have 1,000 people. You want to open a store? Bam! 1,000 fans right there. You want to launch a product? Bam! 1,000 fans right there. They are there with you along the way. I know many of you are like that. That's how I view all of my patrons. And it's a great thing because it allows people who aspire to do things well. But you got to get that 1,000 people. And that's where the blood, sweat, and tears come in. That's when the hard work is. That's when the long hours come in that I'm sure he has put into it. I'm sure they have put into it. Now, I'm a little bit more cautious around this one just because of the super focus on rarity and NFTs and stuff like that. But I like the art more. So like there's that. And it looks very Magic the Gathering, like text-wise and stuff like that. And the gameplay is very unique. You have to like discard memories that then you get back, but then you have to discard them and you can level up people in it. It's an interesting game for sure. But I just think it's really cool that they were able to do this. So, yeah, that's huge news. At this point, these dinky trading card games are outperforming board games. Easily. And, that's darn impressive. So good for them on that. All right. There's a few other things I want to cover. There's some more stuff on Kickstarter I want to talk about. So I will be doing that in my next video. That'll be a news video. You guys will be able to see all that. I hope you, stay tuned for that. It'll be coming up. And, yeah, that's it. That's all I had. Guys, have a great rest of your day. I hope, maybe you put some thought into this if you're in the industry and, maybe you don't necessarily try to emulate it, but just naturally focus on community and the great things that you can benefit from that as a business. And with that, I'll leave you to be. Take care, guys.